The Stonewall National Education Project is about sharing best practices so that people who come from different school districts can learn from one another. Statistically speaking, our LGBT kids in schools are still struggling. Even though there are more gay-straight alliances and there are more allies in schools, research shows us that gay kids still get picked on. They still get harassed. They still get taunted. And even if there's a teacher in a school who wants to help, oftentimes that teacher doesn't know how to help. And I think that's where Stonewall comes into the picture. The Stonewall National Museum and Archives is dedicated to preserving the contributions of the LGBT community in our nation's history. The goal ultimately is to utilize the resources of the museum and the archive and transform those materials into educational materials. The Stonewall National Education Project, which is an offshoot of the museum, is dedicated to transforming our school districts. We inform educators and school administrators on content, what's available in terms of curriculum, teaching guides, model policies. We empower our districts by telling them how to use these materials, how to have the challenging conversations. And we network, and this is my favorite part, is that we introduce people who feel like they're doing this work in isolation, and once you come to one of our conferences, you don't feel like you're doing this alone anymore. You feel like you're part of a bigger picture, you're part of a family, you're part of a community. What I love about the Stonewall National Education Project is that people come back year after year. The same school administrator who came for year one is already signed up for year three. People are invested. They want to see this project succeed. They get something different out of it every year. So we're heading into our third year of having a national conference. It can be very intimidating if you're coming from a district where there isn't a lot already in place to go back and broach this subject with your superintendent, with your school board. Year three will be about how to have those challenging conversations so that the information you learn at the conference isn't just left with you. For me, this is very personal. It's important to me as an LGBT ally that my kids think of themselves as allies as well. That's why when my children were very young, I began speaking to them about diverse families. In fact, it wasn't until my kids entered the school system that it ever occurred to them that a family looks like one mom and one dad. And that's when I realized I needed to get involved. It was important to me that LGBT inclusive lesson plans were taught at an early age so that we could raise the next generation of allies, as well as validating the LGBT kids who were already becoming self-aware in elementary school. Having LGBT inclusive curriculum does not have to be an intimidating undertaking. Sometimes it can be as simple as pointing out that someone who's already in the history books identified as LGBT. And for the kid in the classroom who either is LGBT or is questioning, that's incredibly empowering. Just to know that there are American icons who identified as gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender. It gives youth the feeling that they belong and that they're capable of greatness. The Stonewall National Education Project invites you to join us for our third national event in May 2015. This is an opportunity to create real change in your school district that will impact the lives of countless LGBT youth and their families. They're counting on you.